Hi, everybody. Welcome back to a special edition of 3 News Now as we focus on your Olympic stories on this Thursday, July 29th. I am Stephanie Haney with the top stories from our Olympics coverage out of NBC3 right here in Cleveland out of WKYC Studios. And we start off with some very exciting news for a Northeast Ohio native. Unfortunately, not so great news for someone else, but let's focus on the positive first. Chardon native Matt Ludwig is headed to Tokyo en route there early this morning as the alternate for the men's pole vaulting competition. Well, he was the alternate. Now he's been called up to Team USA. Now, unfortunately, this is after a Team USA member, Sam Kendricks, tested positive for COVID-19. Now, we have heard from his team. His team says he's not feeling symptoms and he does feel fine, but he did test positive for COVID-19 and under Olympic protocols. That means he is out and Matt Ludwig is in. Now, once he arrives in Tokyo, he will have a quick turnaround. He will be competing in the men's pole vault competition, which begins on Friday at 8:40 p.m. Eastern. Now, Tokyo time, which is 13 hours ahead of us, that will be early Saturday morning. Not too early Saturday morning. We have seen, some earlier competitions, but that will be Saturday morning because they are, as I said, 13 hours ahead of us. Now, 3 News caught up with Matt Ludwig this morning at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport, and he had said, he hadn't had much sleep, but that getting this opportunity to compete in the Olympics, the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, of course, happening now in 2021 because of the delay, because of the pandemic, is a lifelong dream of his. Here's what he said. It certainly hasn't settled in yet. We'll see. It will get there. I'm sure I'll process it at some point. I had entire lifelong goals to get to this point. It's a bit of a strange route to get here, but I'm just as excited and I don't want to waste the opportunity. He talked about it being a very last-minute journey to Tokyo as well. He said this, we're sort of expected to be prepared as the alternates, but there's a little bit of preparation that's not exactly handled the same way. So finding out a day or two beforehand is quite stressful, but we'll make it. I can imagine that would be quite stressful. We are definitely rooting for you, Matt Ludwig, as you compete in the men's pole vault competition at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics for Team USA. A little bit of his backstory. He attended Lake Catholic High School, and he's a graduate of the University of Akron. And big congratulations are in order for Suni Lee, who won gold in the gymnastics all-around individual competition at the Tokyo Olympics. With that win, she is now the 5th straight American woman to claim that Olympic title. That happened edging out the Brazilian competitor in what it was a very hotly contested final. Also, only 18 years old, this St. Paul, Minnesota native is reportedly the first Asian American woman to win this top individual title at the Olympic Games. That's according to reporting by NBC News. Now, her total score of 57.433 points was enough to get her that win. She edged out the Brazilian competitor who stepped out of bounds twice on the floor routine. Russian gymnast Angelina Melnikova earned the bronze medal. Now, Russia took the gold medal in the team finals for women's gymnastics, and Suni Lee and the rest of Team USA earned a silver in the women's gymnastics team final. Jade Carey competed in the individual all-around as well for Team USA. Now, Jade finished in 9th place. Jade was able to qualify after Simone Biles withdrew from the individual all-around finals competition. Being in 9th place, you would think, wait, why wasn't she competing in that competition anyway? Well, there's a rule from the International Committee that you can only have 2 people per country in every finals event. So with Simone Biles withdrawing, that gave Jade Carey the opportunity to step in and compete for that competition as well. Now, we will wait and see what happens for Simone Biles. I remember Simone Biles on Tuesday withdrew from the women's team finals, and then the Team USA went on to compete and win the silver medal. Biles also receiving that silver medal as a part of the team, and then she withdrew from the all-around individual finals. She is also qualified, though, for each individual final event, all 4 of those events. Now, that's something that she didn't even do in 2016 in Rio de Janeiro when she came home with five medals from those Olympic Games. Team USA has said that they will continue to evaluate her on a daily basis to see if she is prepared and ready to compete in those individual events. So we're waiting to see what happens there. But lots of comments, lots of support coming for Simone Biles. Some interesting comments from Cleveland Browns defensive end Myles Garrett about Simone Biles. Here's what he said. I know a lot of people have differing opinions on that, with her being the best and saying it and admitting it openly. She feels like she's the best, and I agree. I don't like that she did it, but I believe that it took a lot of courage to do that, admitting that mentally she didn't feel like she was there and it was affecting her physical performance. He went on to say, it hurts to see that, but as a competitor, I wanted her to just go through it, tough through it. But as a person, as a human being, you've got to be able to know that you've reached your limit and be able to empathize with that. Well, Simone Biles had her own comments about pushing through it. Here's what she said on Tuesday after withdrawing from the team finals. She said, I say put mental health first, because if you don't, then you're not going to enjoy your sport and you're not going to succeed as much as you want to. So it's okay to sometimes sit out the big competitions to focus on yourself. It shows how strong a person and competitor you really are, rather than just battle through it. Now, she has received a lot of support from people all over the world, including celebrities, athletes, and politicians, and from our own Kevin Love here for the Cleveland Cavaliers, who was supposed to be a part of Team USA for the men's basketball team as well, but also bowed out because he said he wasn't there in a physical capacity. But he has been to the Olympics before. Here's what he posted. He said, why can't we be accepting or even open to the idea of someone breaking down to have a breakthrough? He also said to Simone and others who have openly shared their story, you are helping many. Continue to lean into discomfort and vulnerability. Don't deny your story. Defy the ending. Now, Simone Biles has talked about how she got a case of the twisties, which is when you could become disoriented when you're in the air, according to what other gymnastics and other gymnasts and other experts have said. So that's what she's been experiencing. And it's a bit tough in the Tokyo environment right now because their practice space is limited. If she were perhaps home at a practice facility or at some other facility with more amenities that wasn't limited because of the current state of the world and the pandemic and many other things, she might have access to foam pits or things where she could safely practice and sort of get that out of her system. But that is definitely a factor too. Another factor, Dominique Moceanu here in Northeast Ohio, she talked to Arlena Lai and said, no crowd there does make a difference too. Feeling that crowd, hearing that crowd chanting Team USA makes a big difference. And Dominique Moceanu knows, she's a former Olympian. She was part of that Magnificent Seven. She has been there. She really knows what she's talking about. So, of course, we wish Simone Biles the best, and we will have all of your Olympics coverage. Make sure you stay with us at wkyc.com/Olympics for everything you need to know. And if you want to take another step, you can text 216-344-3300. Text the word Olympics to that line. We'll text you right back directly with that link. Again, that link is wkyc.com/Olympics. Make sure you stay glued to our WKYC app for those push notifications as the big moments happen. And watch everything on 3 News, because NBC is your home for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. I'm Stephanie Haney.